Welcome to Signature TV News. I am Vin Martin Obiora Ilo. In the headlines, several people confirmed dead in Kenya after protesters stormed the Parliament building in Nairobi. Tinubu state government put citizens on red alert against possible cholera outbreak. Governor Soludo calls for an end to ghost worker syndrome at the local government level. Retired IG Mike Okiro appeals for harmony between the Police Service Commission and the police force. And in sports, Enugu State stands still as Rangers make triumphant entry into the coal city. Details in a moment. All is not well in Nairobi, the Kenyan capital, following nationwide demonstrations against proposed tax hikes, with police firing tear gas to disperse protesters. Organizers have called for protests and a general strike against the tax legislation, seeking to build on momentum that has turned an online youth-led movement into a major headache for the government within a week. Here is the report from our foreign desk.
Thousands took to the streets of Nairobi and several other cities during 2 days of protest last week. Although the protesters last week in Nairobi were almost entirely peaceful, police repeatedly fired tear gas and water cannon. Protesters converged and marched on Tuesday as thousands rallied nationwide against proposed tax hikes championed by President William Ruto's government. Demonstrations spread from Nairobi to towns like Mombasa and Kisumu after an online youth movement opposing Ruto's tax plans morphed into a major challenge. Protesters also called for Ruto's resignation, accusing him of reneging on pledges to champion the workers' poor after he won the presidency in 2022.
And I want to tell this government, we gave you the entry, we are going to show you the exit. Mr. President, watch us.
And we are here as the youth and the people to commune and reject the finance bill. Our lives are tough. People are struggling. People don't have places to stay. People don't have meals to eat. Families, fathers can't put food on their table. We need change in this country.
I don't want him as my president. I even regret why I voted him. Yes, he must go. This finance bill, we are not amending. We are rejecting. Everything. We withdraw it. The money that he uses to travel, ajipange, ametuharibia economy, he must go. Ruto, you must by force. We are not pleasing you. We are not pleasing you. Must go by force.
Government treat us like foreigners in this place. We are rejecting every single bill no matter what. In that finance. We are rejecting it, every clause.
Ruto's government says the tax hikes aim to lighten debt consuming over a third of revenue, but has offered concessions that protesters rejected as inadequate. As crowds gathered, police sealed off Parliament where lawmakers were debating the tax bill, as well as State House, Ruto's official residence. In Nairobi's business districts and Kabira slum, officers dispersed rallies. Despite the clashes, a festive atmosphere prevailed in some protest hotspots, with music blaring and demonstrators waving flags. Protesters shot outside Kenya's parliament in attempts to breach the gates. Sections of Kenya's parliament were on fire on Tuesday as protesters overwhelmed police to storm the compound where lawmakers had just passed a contentious bill that would introduce a raft of new taxes. At least 50 people were injured by gunfire during the protests.
Meanwhile, latest report from Kenya says police opened fire on demonstrators trying to storm the legislature, with at least 5 protesters killed. Dozens wounded and sections of the parliament building set ablaze as lawmakers inside passed legislation to raise taxes. At one place, a body could be seen lying on the pavement, head covered by a Kenyan flag. police arrived and loaded the body into a van. Some buildings and structures had been set on fire, with the smoke pervading through the city. The protesters opposed tax rises in our country, already reeling from a cost of living crisis, and many are also calling for President William Ruto to step down. The Federal Executive Council has stepped down consideration and deliberations on the memo on the new minimum wage to allow President Bola Tinubu engage in more consultation with stakeholders. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris disclosed this on Tuesday while briefing State House correspondents on the decisions taken at the council meeting. He said the president has studied the report submitted by the Tripartite Committee on Minimum Wage and would consult further before a final submission of a bill on a new national minimum wage to the National Assembly. Talks for a new minimum wage for Nigerian workers have been on for a while, as the Minimum Wage Act of 2019, which made 30,000 naira the minimum wage, expired in April 2024. President Bola Tinubu in January set up a tripartite committee to negotiate a new minimum wage for workers, which comprised the organized labor, representatives of federal and state governments, as well as the organized private sector. The president is expected to make a decision on the 62,000 naira proposal of the government and private sector side and the 250,000 naira demand of the organized labor. An officer of the Nigerian Customs Service has been confirmed dead while attending an engagement with a committee of the House of Representatives. A statement signed by the House spokesman and chairman, House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Akin Rotimi, on Tuesday, said the officer developed sudden health complications during the engagement, which occurred around 1 p.m. Rotimi said that despite the immediate and diligent efforts of first responders and medical personnel at the National Assembly Clinic, the officer unfortunately passed away. The House, however, which did not disclose the officer's identity out of respect for the family, extended its heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of the deceased during this difficult time, while appreciating the significant contributions the late customs officer made to the Nigerian Customs Service and to our nation. The Tinubu state government has urged residents to remain vigilant and take the necessary precautions to prevent the spread of cholera outbreak that is affecting several states in Nigeria. The government noted that the state is currently free from cholera that has affected approximately 30 states in Nigeria, including some neighboring states. Correspondent Clinton Okolo, who has been monitoring the disease outbreak in parts of the country, has an update.
Cholera is an acute diarrheal infection caused by eating or drinking food and water that is contaminated with the bacterium Vibrio cholera. The disease is an indicator of lack of social development and has continued to pose a global threat to public health over the years. Some symptoms of cholera include vomiting, abdominal discomfort, thirst, diarrhea, leg cramps, rapid dehydration, and restlessness. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in its recent report, said that from January 1st to June 11th, 2024, over 65 confirmed cases of cholera, resulting in over 30 deaths, had been reported from 96 local government areas of the country. In Lagos State, no fewer than 37 deaths have been recorded in the current cholera outbreak, with an additional 6 recent deaths to the previous 15, and a total of 401 cases in Lagos State alone. The statistics keep increasing. Residents of Enugu who spoke on the issue emphasized the need for clean water as a panacea.
What we do to avoid cholera is to avoid drinking dirty water. And even recently, the health experts are saying that it is not good to buy watermelon that are cut into slashes, or even pawpaw that are cut into slashes because of flies. When flies come to those things, they defecate on them, and when we buy them, we contaminate disease.
For me, as a mother, I have started precautionary measures, and I have even taught my kids on how to prevent it. Washing your hands. It's now time to even buy sanitizer. Wash your hand in a running water, not to make sure that you are neat. Keep the house neat. Anything that is being cooked outside, you should be careful about it. But cook your food. Know how to take in good water. Potable water is very necessary now.
Cholera is something that is recurrent, okay? And as these changes in weather and all that continues, it will continue to be recurring. But by now, we are supposed to have structures in place. These structures will be disseminating information even before cholera comes. So it's not when something comes that people will begin to carry this thing, begin to announce and so on.
Deadly diseases like cholera should not be taken for granted. So I want to also advise the residents of the state to be precautious about what they take in. You know, these things are what you take in, and it goes with the bacteria that, and all these organisms that promote the disease. So since we've heard about it, we need to take care of ourselves and also hope that the government will help us to take care of ourselves.
Sometimes children, you have to encourage them for them to keep our environments clean and with all the grasses around us for the betterment of our children and everybody.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Enugu State Hospitals Management Board, Dr. Eric Odo, reassures residents of Enugu State that the water galleries provided by the current administration in Enugu State is clean enough for domestic and commercial use.
What is the import? The import is that we have potable water in Enugu. We have water that is of high quality that can be taken and at a certain extent can go a long way to reduce every waterborne diseases, of which cholera is one of them.
Practice of good hygiene is a sure way to prevent the continued spread of the disease before it becomes a pandemic. Some ways to prevent cholera include use of bottled, chlorinated and filtered water for drinking, proper disposal of excreta, thorough processing of food and fruits before consumption, frequent cleaning of surfaces with bleach or bleach products, among others. In Enugu, Clinton Okolo, Signature TV News.
Still on cholera outbreak, the Gombe state government has started distributing chlorine to the 11 local government areas of the state as part of measures to mitigate cholera spread. The waste manager of the Gombe State Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Omar Musa, made this known in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria in Gombe on Tuesday. Musa said the targeted areas are wells, stagnant ponds and reservoirs, while areas that fetch water from rivers would get aqua tabs since they cannot add chlorine to running river or stream. He added that the aqua tab would be given to them and the personnel handling the chlorination would teach them how to apply it in their drinking water. According to him, the chlorine is a measure to mitigate cholera spread because it will destroy all pathogens in water which contain the bacterium called Vibrio cholera that causes cholera infection and other waterborne diseases. The manager who said that the chlorine distribution would continue until December added that 110 trained personnel are handling the distribution of both chlorine and the aquatab to communities. Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State has charged workers in the local government system to end ghost worker syndrome and individually strive towards maximum productivity. Soludo made the call while addressing the opening ceremony of the Local Government Service Commission Week at the Dora Akunyili Women Development Center, Oka, on Tuesday. Signature TV correspondent Ndu Okbaleze has a detailed report on the ceremony, which is read from our studio.
Governor Soludo identified local government staff as a critical part of productive sector. He bemoaned a situation where they cover up for those not adding any value to the system due to selfish benefits. He disclosed that over 390 ghost workers were recently weeded off the Anambra State local government system.
Something for nothing. Most people want something for And I am pretty sure that the workers at the local government service commission, then and local government, you are not part of those who take something for nothing, isn't it? You are not part of those.
Professor Soludo said this era of banditry and kidnapping in the country calls for introspection and decision to forge ahead with original values and norms. He recalled the story of youth that hibernate in the forest and take innocent people hostage for ransom, attributing that to the present society's celebration of the get-rich-quick syndrome without bothering how the wealth is made. A one-time Minister of Aviation and keynote speaker on the occasion, Osita Chidoka, regretted that certain basic tasks of local government staff like street naming, numbering, data gathering, and documentation of important information about people and places are rarely obtained today. Chidoka enjoined public servants generally to ensure the attitude of feeling too important, which manifests in delays and sitting on files brought before their table for treatment. According to him, the malaise in the national productivity would cease if workers decide to approach his or her duties with utmost diligence and sense of duty.
Every position for us is a position of Ukane. And every exhibition of Ukane trickles down from the top. So if the governor has said the state fiscal council is important, therefore we'll spend 5 minutes here, but decided to spend 40 minutes dealing with the issues arising from the room, it is that ability to bring yourself down from that high horse, not to show Ukane to their pain and cheek, but to show them that we need to need to.
The week-long program tagged Value Rebirth was organized by the Anambra State Local Government Service Commission, headed by Vin Ezaka, in liaison with the Commissioner for Local Government, Town Union and Chieftaincy Matters, Tony Collins Mwabunwanne. Participants were drawn from the 21 local government areas of Anambra State, with traditional rulers and transition committee chairmen of the various council areas in attendance.
The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has advised Nigerians to exercise patience over the increase in food prices across the nation. The acting executive vice chairman of the commission, Dr. Adamu Abdullahi, who gave the assurance during an interactive session with traders at Dawano and Galadima markets in Kano on Tuesday, said the commission is making appropriate efforts to address the problem. He said the visit to the markets was to interact with traders to ascertain factors responsible for the continuous hike in food prices, which he said has been a major worry to the present administration. Abdullahi said the interactions with traders has provided the commission with enough facts to advise the federal government appropriately. On their part, some market union leaders and consumers attributed the continuous hike in food commodities to cost of transportation and insecurity. Meanwhile, Olatunji Bello, whose appointment as CEO Vice Chairman of the FCCPC was approved by President Bola Tinubu on Monday, is awaiting screening by the Senate. The appointment was announced in a statement on Monday by Ajurin Gilali, Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity. Bello, who is a lawyer, administrator, journalist, and former secretary to the Lagos State Government, holds a master's degree in international law and diplomacy from the University of Lagos. He began his career in journalism at the Concord newspapers in 1985 and held the positions of group political editor, Sunday Concord editor, and editor, National Concord. No date has been fixed for the screening, but sources from the National Assembly say it will be soon. Governor Dakpo Abiodun of Ogun State on Monday became the chairman of Southern Governors Forum, emerging by consensus among the 16 governors present at their meeting in Abeokuta. Announcing the resolution of the governors after the meeting, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, who said the forum's decision was unanimous, also announced the emergence of Professor Chukwuma Soludo as the vice chairman of the forum. In his reaction, Abiodun expressed appreciation for the confidence reposed on him to take the mantle of leadership of the forum and promised to lead with inclusiveness and efficiency. The forum was led by the late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State until his demise in 2023. Pensioners under the African Alliance Company, Enugu, have threatened to embark on demonstration over the delay in the payment of their entitlements. They issued the threat during a gathering in Enugu State. Signature TV News correspondent David Okoro has more.
The late payments of pension to retired public servants have been a source of concern in the country. This is even worse going by the biting economic situation in the country. The pensioners under the African Alliance Company converge at Company Office, Bridge Road, Enugu, to express frustration over delay in the payment of their pensions. The convener, Enugu State Pensioners, Godfrey Eketi, said the senior citizens plan to embark on a peaceful demonstration if nothing is done about their demand. He described the monthly pension payment system by the pension manager, African Alliance Company, as unsteady, calling for a change.
My aim and objective of, organizing this association is for us to come together, brainstorm on the way forward, on how to embark on peaceful demonstration that will alert Nigerians of our present predicament.
Other pensioners also spoke on the difficulties and hardship they are passing through due to delayed payments.
We do some, even on my kids that are now in school, we always borrow. We're always meeting people, tell them to help us because government has already failed us. That is what we were now doing.
Today, 24th, they've not paid. So that's the thing. We are all colleagues. A lot of people are receiving with the lead way. There are many agencies that pay. So those other people are not affected. It's only peculiar to African Alliance.
Solid 2 months now. Solid 2 months no payment. And May, June. But for March, they paid and paid in April. So we started having the signal of these failures from March.
In Enugu, David Okoro, Signature TV News.
Nigerian Army uncovers more illegal oil sites in Abia, and Nigeria's public debt stock increases to 121.67 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024. Stay with us. Former Inspector General of Police Mike Okiro has called on the Police Service Commission and the Nigeria Police Force to work in harmony for national security. Okiro, in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja, said that the fight against insecurity would remain a mirage unless the Commission and the police worked in harmony with the aim of policing Nigeria with vigor. According to him, what Nigerians desire now is how the country will exit the ravaging insecurity pervading the land, with demands that the two establishments must eschew whatever is their perceived bitterness and embrace the fact that their jobs go hand in hand. Okiro, who was a former chairman of the PSC, noted that the lingering problem had done collateral damage to their public image and ridiculed the international standing of Nigeria, maintaining that the powers of recruitment, discipline, and promotion of police personnel other than the IG were vested in the Police Service Commission. The Nigerian Army says it raided some illegal mining sites at Obeako in Okwa West local government area of Abia State on Monday, arresting 17 suspects involved in the illicit activities. This, it said, is in addition to 7 other suspects arrested by the military on Friday last week at the Simiri waterside in the same council area as part of the ongoing fight against illegal oil bunkering. The General Officer commanding 82 Division, Major General Hassan Dada, who led the team, said the facilities were being destroyed to deny the criminal elements access to the illegal mining sites. The GOC was accompanied by the Commander 14th Brigade, Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Olushola Diya, as well as top military brass within the division, observed that over 5 million liters of crude oil are being siphoned in the area, which is said is not good for the economy of the nation and the environment. 7 people lost their lives while another 11 suffered varying degrees of injury in a crash which occurred on Monday night around the Ogere area on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The accident occurred when a Mazda bus, which was said to be on excessive speed, lost control and rammed into a truck. Spokesperson of the Ogun State Sector Command of Federal Road Safety Corps, Florence Okpe, disclosed in a statement on Tuesday that the injured were taken to Pat Mag Hospital, Ogere, for medical attention, while the corpses were deposited at FOC Morgue in Ekbara. The Ogun State FRC Sector Commander Anthony Oga has cautioned motorists to stick to the speed limit, especially at night and during the rain, due to poor visibility. Oga will sympathize with the family of the crash victims, advise passengers to always be on alert, and call the drivers to order when driving against traffic laws. The Managing Director of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Mrs. Olubunmi Kuku, on Monday inaugurated 120 officers of the Aviation Security Special Force that would bear arms to beef up security across airports in the country. Inaugurating 30 of the personnel at the international wing of the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Ikeja, Kuku said it was a constructive step to get Nigeria's aviation security team kitted in line with global standards. She said this would help them in securing critical assets as well as the people within the aviation environment, especially the airports. Kuku allayed the fear of the security team using excessive force in the course of his duty and advised passengers and other airport users to go about their businesses in an orderly manner. Operators in the downstream oil sector have called on the federal government to intervene by ensuring the provision of crude oil to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, as marketers now prefer to buy cheaper imported refined petroleum rather than patronizing Dangote Refinery. They also slammed the international oil companies operating in Nigeria for selling crude oil to Dangote Refinery above the global market prices, describing this as anti-country practice. The national president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Ipman Abubakar Maigandi, stated this while reacting to claims by the Dangote Refinery that it had sold about 3.5 billion liters of refined products to Europe and other countries because some marketers were importing dirty fuels into Nigeria. Maigandi explained that the reason marketers were shunning the diesel and aviation fuel produced by Dangote was that the products were higher in cost, and the refusal of the president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, to collaborate with Ipman. The vice president of oil and gas at Dangote Industries Limited, Devakumar Idwen, had accused the international oil companies in Nigeria of plans to frustrate the survival of the new Dangote refinery. Nigeria's public debt stock increased from 97.34 trillion or $108.23 billion in the fourth quarter of 2023 to 121.67 trillion naira or $91.46 billion in the first quarter of 2024. The National Bureau of Statistics disclosed this on Tuesday in its Nigerian domestic and foreign debt report for the first quarter of 2024 released in Abuja. The report said Nigeria's public debt stock, which included external and domestic debts, grew by 24.99% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, while external debt stood at 56.02 trillion or $42.12 billion the first quarter of 2024, while domestic debt was 65.65 trillion or $49.35 billion. A further breakdown shows that Lagos State recorded the highest domestic debt of 929.41 billion naira in the first quarter of 2024, followed by Delta with 334.90 billion, while Jigawa recorded the lowest domestic debt at 2.07 billion naira, followed by Ondo State with 16.40 billion naira. South Korean president condemns North Korea's latest moves at war anniversary, and leaders react to news of WikiLeaks Assange reaching plea deal with U.S. government. Stay with us. More foreign news. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol slammed North Korea on Tuesday for signing the Mutual Defense Pact with Russia as the country marked 74th anniversary of the Korean War. In his war anniversary speech, Yoon called the Mutual Defense Pact sealed last week by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Russian President Vladimir Putin as anachronistic. More tensions have flared recently as the North has flown hundreds of balloons carrying trash in protest against South Korean activists flying anti-Pyongyang leaflets. This has prompted Seoul to scrap an inter-Korean military pact and take steps to resume propaganda loudspeaker broadcasts, which Pyongyang has long denounced. Israeli lawmakers expressed a range of views on Tuesday right after the Supreme Court ruled that ultra-Orthodox Jewish seminary students must be drafted into the military. The unanimous decision said there was no legal basis for exempting ultra-Orthodox men from serving in the military and had the potential to divide Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's governing coalition. Netanyahu's government relies on two ultra-Orthodox parties that regard conscription exemptions as key to keeping their constituents in religious seminaries and away from a melting pot military that might test their conservative customs. Leaders of those parties said they were disappointed with the ruling, but issued no immediate threat to the government. The issue of exempting ultra-Orthodox individuals from conscription has become particularly contentious as Israel's military is stretched thin due to conflicts on multiple fronts with Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon. While the military expresses a critical need for more recruits, leaders of the Orthodox community view these exemptions as crucial for the continuation of their traditions. Leaders reacted on Monday to WikiLeaks' announcement that its founder, Julian Assange, had left a British prison and flown out of the United Kingdom. WikiLeaks announced Assange's whereabouts shortly after court documents showed he was due to plead guilty later this week to violating U.S. espionage law in a deal that will allow him to return home to Australia, ending a 14-year legal odyssey. U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. posted on social media platform X, formerly Twitter, that Julian Assange struck a plea deal and will go free, describing him as a generational hero. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel wrote on X that the long and cruel punishment that was imposed on him for his denunciations of imperial crimes will remain in the memory of the people as proof of how little his jailers believe in the freedom of the press. Assange, 52, has agreed to plead guilty to a single criminal count of conspiring to obtain and disclose classified U.S. national defense documents, according to filings in the U.S. District Court for the Northern Mariana Islands. The deal marks the end of a legal saga, which has seen Assange spend more than 5 years in a British high-security jail and 7 years holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. It was a day to remember for the Rangers International Football Club of Enugu Their supporters and fans, ex-players and indeed the government and people of Enugu State as the team returned to base after lifting the 2023-2024 Nigeria Premier Football League NPFL trophy in grand style. And that was after they defeated the Gombe United FC 2-1 in the final and Week 38 formality match in the North Central State of Jos, having won the Premier League title a week earlier when they defeated the Bendel Insurance of Benin last weekend at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu. Correspondent Chinemeremi Kebunam was at the Michael Okpara Square Monday evening where the celebration of success and victory took place.
The Rangers International Football Club of Enugu, also known as the Flying Antelopes, was founded in 1970. Till date, it has remained the only Nigerian club side that has never been relegated from the elite division of the Nigerian Premier League. This has no doubt made it the most successful club side in the country. It also has the enviable record of winning 8 Premier League titles, surpassed by only Enyimba of Aba that has won it 9 times. It was therefore not a surprise when lovers of the round leather game, sports enthusiasts, fans, supporters, and ex-players converged on Michael Okpara Square to celebrate their darling team. That was the way they chose to give them kudos for doing them proud by emerging champions of the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL 2023-2024.
It wasn't an easy one. If you have followed the Premier League, you have to be dogged, you have to be disciplined, you have to be tough. I think the Rangers put a good fight, and it wasn't easy. Like I said, it's a tough game. They deserve to be the winners. They dominated in all part of the game, the defense, the midfield. So it was a good game, and they deserve to be winners. Yeah. So we are the proud sponsors of Rangers FC, and we're happy to be here today.
Sport rules the world. So these players, they will become a role model to the children at the local settings. So going back to the local government, we are going to do something like talent hunts, because they can now see that in as much as these people can achieve it, that they can as well achieve it.
Those players should be deployed to play for the two matches, qualifying matches we've played for the African Cup of Nations. Their teamwork, their performance, they are excellent.
Nobody saw them coming, and at a time they took over, they started winning their games and they won the trophy. So I'm so happy that Rangers won, and we are here to celebrate them.
Ex-Rangers goalkeeper and one-time #1 choice for Nigeria's senior national team, the Super Eagles, Emmanuel Okala, attributed the Rangers' victory to a continued lifestyle of tenacity and determination of the team.
Today we are celebrating the victory of yesterday, and I pray more victories will follow it up. During our days, we brought lorries, cups, shields to this team.
Emmanuel Oko, the convener and organizer of the team's homecoming and welcome party, said the team has made Enugu State and the entire Southeast proud.
A lot of us don't associate with failure. We are here due to the determination we have in Rangers. In fact, we don't want the Rangers FC again. We want Rangers SC. When is the FC? It's football club. When is the SC? It's sports club. It means we can have a handball, badminton, sprinting, and all that. I love this thing so much, and I love the project, especially when our governor appointed Barrister Mobi Ezako from FIFA to come and spearhead the affairs of Rangers, and everything is working. Whatever we'll do here today is more than what Rangers deserve.
Led by their captain Chukwu Dimudu, team manager Fidelis Ilechukwu, and the general manager and CEO Amobi Ezako, Rangers were treated to a momentous welcome and given thunderous ovation by the crowd.
Tonight is important because by midnight today,
the CAF CMS will open, and Rangers International Football Club of Enugu will be keyed into the CAF CMS as the #1 representative of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Abani abụrụ maka ndị Enugu alone. Abani abụ maka ndị Igbo niile. Abani abụ maka ndị South East niile. Abani abụ maka ndị Nigeria.
The State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Lloyd Ekweremadu, appreciated the state government for its commitment to the promotion of sports in the state. He assured fans that Rangers will be going into continental competitions more fortified, describing the club as a national pride and brand.
Of course, the biggest celebrants, our players. This is a testament to your hard work, to your resilience, your tenacity, your sagacity, your capacity. You suffered under rain, under sun, you did all it took, and your efforts have been crowned in glory.
As earlier shown at the gathering, the prayer of many is that Rangers International Football Club will not only continue to soar higher at the national stage, but also on the continent. And as the state government and team management have promised, the team must do everything possible to make the nation proud as it pursues the African Championship tournament in the coming season. Chinemerem Ikebunam, Signature TV.
Matthias Zakani rescued Italy with a 98th minute equalizer as the defending champions booked their spot in Euro 2024's last 16 on Monday with a 1-1 draw in a tense game against Croatia, whose tournament hopes are hanging by a thread. Luka Modric gave Croatia a 55th minute lead moments after missing a penalty, and that looked like sending them through before late substitute Zakani bent a stunning finish past the despairing dive of Dominik Livakovic into the far corner. The result left Italy, who next face Switzerland second in Group B on 4 points, with Croatia third and waiting to see whether 2 points will be enough to take them through to the knockout stage as one of the best 4 third-placed sides. Having been subbed off by head coach Latko Dalic in the 80th, man of the match, Modric was forced to watch on in horror as Zakani curled in the late equalizer that will likely eliminate Croatia from what many believed would be the 2018 Ballon d'Or winner's last major tournament with his national team. Brazil missed a string of chances and were left to rue a lack of quality in the final third after they were held 0-0 by Costa Rica in their Copa America Group D opener in Los Angeles on Monday. Brazil had more than 75% possession in the first half and had a goal disallowed for offside, but struggled to crack open the disciplined Costa Rican defense. The one-way traffic continued after the break, and Lucas Paqueta rattled the woodwork with a long-range effort in the 63rd minute before a venomous Guillermo Arana strike was kept out by a fine save from Costa Rica keeper Patrick Sequeira. Coach Dorival Jr. brought on youngsters Sevillo and Endrick in the 70th minute as Brazil desperately sought a winner, but Paqueta twice shot wide in the final 10 minutes as the 9 times champions failed to break the deadlock. Colombia led Group D following their 2-1 win over Paraguay earlier on Monday. Well, that's the news this hour. I am Vin Martin Obiora Ilo. Thanks for watching.